It's your boy, Matt, the editor. We're about to see Vince sing and dance right now. So, yeah. Welcome everyone to this first vlog of Turkey Bee Productions. I am the editor Matt, the executive producer here, and this is...
I'm the face of the channel, I think.
Yeah.
I've been on every video, so...
Yeah, one of the faces, or the main face, actually.
The main face. Hopefully you guys enjoy my face.
Yeah.
And Matt, why don't you tell them what we're doing today in this vlog?
So, yeah, today we're gonna be going to see It Chapter 2. I personally have seen the first movie, but Vince here hasn't, but he's read the book. So.
I've read the book, I saw the miniseries, the original one, and I've seen the Kill Counts by James A. Jennings, so that's been dope. I accidentally plugged in another channel, cool.
So I saw that there were adult actors, which means that it is in the future. So does the book go that deep in? Like,
yeah, actually, if I remember correctly, I think they returned to Derry like 20 years later or something like that.
Oh.
I'm just really glad. For those who've read the book, I think you'll understand why I'm glad that it didn't adhere completely to Stephen King's vision of, you know, the vision that he had for the book. Because that first one, when they were in the sewer, would have played out a lot differently and would have gotten a lot of people in trouble. I don't know if I should talk about what happens
in the book.
Yeah, it's pretty makes you kind of question what goes through the mind of Stephen King sometimes, honestly.
I mean, you might as well. I'm interested. I mean,
okay. So buckle up your seatbelts. Luckily, mine already is. So they go into the sewer, and essentially what happens is like their minds kind of start to wander, and they're basically like fracturing. The group's fracturing while they're hunting for the it creature, Pennywise the clown, which he isn't a clown for the most part in the book. He's a giant spider demon thing.
Oh.
But he turns into people's fears. That's why clowns.
Mm.
But so in order for them to not be disbanded or disjointed while they're in the sewers and be hunted one by one by this thing, the girl, whose name I cannot remember,
Beverly?
Yeah.
Okay.
She decides, mind you, these are kids. She decides the best way to keep the group together is to have sex with all of them. I'm not even joking. Go and read the book so you understand why I'm glad that's not in the... I'm not even joking. That's an actual thing that Stephen King wrote with his own hands. The editors saw this and they were like, cool, let's put this in a 1,000-page book. I'm not even joking about... I wish I was joking. No, I wouldn't even joke about that. And I joke about a lot of things. You know, but no, that's a thing for some reason.
What in the world?
Yeah, Stephen King, man. I would say, like, if they had an edited version of that book where it's only the movie, then read that. Because although Stephen King is a fantastic, he's a fantastic novelist, he's a fantastic writer. I heard that, what's his name? Bill Skarsgård, the guy who plays It. I forget what his name is. I heard he does a phenomenal job. Like, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate personally. I think that Pennywise the Clown, the It creature, the epitome of it is absolutely terrifying. And if you're gonna make something that preys on the fears of children and then consumes them when they're filled with fear, you need an actor who can do that. If you want to be beyond depressed and frustrated with a movie ending, go watch The Mist. 100%. First time I ever watched that movie, I hated it. I was so angry I tossed a chair. But second time I ever watched that, I watched it with someone else who had never seen the movie before. And they had the same reaction, and I was like, this became one of my favorite movies. Because I get to share my pain with other people. Do you want to sit in the middle or like on the side?
Should I? Yeah, that would be better if you sat in the middle.
Here, I'll stop really quick.
So illegal. So everyone, this is our friend Guillermo.
Our wonderful bearded
Hi everyone. And yeah, we're just on our way to see the It movie. We'll just wait for this guy next to us to stop playing his music.
And he's on a motorcycle too, that's the best part.
That's pretty loud.
Yo, that music was louder than his engine.
What do you expect to see in It Chapter 2?
So, in all honesty, I think this is one of those movies based off the trailer where the story is actually going to be expanded. I don't exactly know how that's going to happen because it's a pretty crazy premise, because Pennywise isn't just like a clown, but he's like a interdimensional being.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
That's pretty much what I have to say about that. I expect the lore to be expanded, but I don't know how it's going to happen because I think it can just go almost anywhere. But I also expect there to be a proper closure. Obviously, the kids are older now, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Though it seems like there's going to be some flashback scenes to when they were still, you know, teenagers, high schoolers. That stuff's going on. But yeah, I really think like the story's going to move forward in a very good way.
If I could ask for one thing, if they were going to go for like a terrible ending or anything like that, the one thing I would want is as they're defeating Pennywise the clown and they're asking him, you know, what he is or who he is. Like Pennywise would just like reach right here and just like pull off his mask, and it's actually Vince McMahon shouting, it was me, Austin, it was me, Mikey, it was me all along. You know, that would, oh man, that would be my favorite movie of all time. Just for that alone. I would never have to see any other movie again.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, I guess not really welcome back since this will be edited. But we are here dining and we're going to talk about our thoughts on it. A lot of it when I was watching it, I was like, come on, should they really be doing that? Like, they could do this and they could do that because, you know, in the first one, they were kids. So to me, I was like, okay, that's permissible. Like, of course they're gonna forget weapons. Like when they go inside of a haunted house, like they're kids. So, but I mean, in this one,
actually, that's a good point. They've already fought the monster before. You'd think they'd be smart.
Yeah.
Like if they had Kevin McAllister in on this, like that thing would have been destroyed already.
Yeah.
Like, there would be no second part. You know, he would have figured it out. But no.
Funny.
It's true though.
So yeah, I mean, there were a lot of horror cliches that, you know, in the first one, of course, they're gonna be cliches. Like in the first one, the kids, every time Pennywise showed himself, the kids were just in awe and just looking at him. So I was like, okay, they're kids. But in this one, they played too much to the, like, their kid mentality. I feel like as if they never grew up, which, I mean, come on.
So I actually agree with you in that it played a lot in the children's mentality, or their childlike mentality, but I don't think that they actually did end up growing up like they thought they did.
Yeah, I kind of actually agree with that stance.
And that's why all those things actually ended up happening. Anyways, that's just kind of me interjecting.
With that though, I kind of get both of you guys in that, because it feels like even if it was playing to the things and they didn't grow up the way they thought they did, they have fought this thing before. They've killed this thing before. So why is it harder the second time? And why did they actually lose people this time? Spoiler. The fight in the beginning was a little unnecessary. That was a little confusing. Because I thought it was one of the actual characters. Turns out it wasn't.
Just two gay guys.
Two gay guys, and one of them just gets eaten after getting beaten down. So I was like, yo.
Actually, that's true. I thought that those two gay characters were from the Losers Club.
I thought the one that survived was the one from the Losers Club. So I was really freaking confused. I was like trying to figure out this whole time for like 40 minutes straight which one of these dudes was the gay guy from the first part. And then I realized, or from the first part of that movie, and I realized they use that as a set piece. I will say this: when they started off in the carnival, it gave me a Final Destination feel, like the way they shot and everything, which I really liked. Gave me this false sense of like, yo, Pennywise can use any of these. I wish they would have ended the fight there. I get why they ended the fight where they ended the fight, and I think the scene later on, the Funhouse mirror scene, or the Hall of Mirror scene, I love that scene.
Yeah.
That was like, bro, like, I hate those things.
Yes.
And then not only that, but seeing how helpless, was it Bill? He's the main character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing how helpless Bill is in that whole scene, like, oh my gosh, like that actually, like, I was super invested in that. I liked that.
The whole time I was thinking, like, why aren't their friends calling them or their business workers calling them? Like, why aren't they interrupting their adventure to kill it? Like, I thought they should have included that to add some realism to that they're actually adults now and that things happen. So, and that they can't always do what they want to do.
The one thing that gets me personally is that, like, we've seen Pennywise work super fast in some regards. Like, he eats that cute little girl with the birthmark
That was messed
like
up.
hella quick,
Yeah.
and she wasn't even afraid of him. So I don't understand this whole like he feeds on your fear bull crap when he doesn't do that to the losers. Like, let me fatten them up with fear. I'm like, dude, these guys killed you 27 years ago. Just eat them. Be done with it.
Yeah.
Make the movie 20 minutes long. Eat them all. Like,
I had wished that they had, just told each other, like, no, this isn't real. And I wish they would have shown more of Pennywise, like, being shrunken down to just, like, a useless spirit that he's powerless. I wish they would have shown more of that. But, of course it's a horror movie, so they're going to play more to the protagonists being scared and less of the antagonists being scared. So. The thing that did get me, though, was that old lady was related to Pennywise. I thought that was really cool. That was probably the coolest thing that they
I'm
added.
pretty sure that was Pennywise.
no, yes, but I think he's referring to the pictures on the wall.
Oh.
The thing that bothers me about that is they ruined that in the trailer.
They do.
They use it in the
That's
true.
true.
And I'm just like, I know what this part is.
Yeah,
I was not prepared for the nudity in that movie.
No.
I was not prepared for.
Yeah, spoiler alert, you will see sagging grandma boobs.
Demon saggy grandma boobs, and then random guy butt.
Yep.
Was not prepared for that.
And grandma butt.
And grandma, yes, wrinkly grandma butt. He did eat the two characters that I did not want him to eat, which were two kids, because kids don't deserve to die getting eaten by a giant evil space clown. You know who does deserve to get eaten by a giant evil space clown? The people who make everything a super dark joke.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I love my dark humor. I quote a lot of dark humor, and you guys will see that not only in the videos before that we posted before this, but you will see this later on. But the thing is, like, when everything's dark and humorous, then nothing is dark and humorous.
Yeah,
And it just,
that is true.
after a while, my brain kind of just shut off to their jokes. They did have some really funny zingers in there. But I feel like when you try to lighten the mood too much, then you can't take any of the really dark and heavy, spooky moments. The movies are supposed to be, like, scary, serious.
Yeah, there's no balance.
Yeah, exactly. It was like too much of a. There was so much of a tonal shift back and forth. Like, I felt like I was gonna get whiplash from it. I never really realized how, like, dumb some of the decisions the characters make. And I get it. People will say, like, oh, it's because they were scared. Yeah, you know what? If I was afraid of a giant multi-dimensional spider demon eating me, and I knew he lived in this house, and I saw something creepy, you know what I would do? I would immediately walk out the front door and light the house on fire. I'm not dealing with no spider coming down my throat, dude. No.
I know. I wish they would have taken more practical things, like at least tried. If they would have shown them trying that and then it failing, then I would be like, okay,
And that would have been scarier.
yeah.
Oh, gentlemen, can we talk about how Pennywise gets beaten?
So, okay, that I thought was kind of lame. They pretty much just call him names, lower his self-esteem, which makes him shrink down really small, and a guy rips out his heart.
Like, yeah, he basically turns into baby Pennywise.
I knew when they mentioned the whole size thing, there's more than one way to make him small. I'm like, they're gonna freaking beat him with words. I already knew. I'm like, no. If I was part of that, and I would have sat down afterwards, I'm like, how the hell did we lose this thing when it lost to me saying that it was a dumb clown? Like, how fragile was Pennywise's ego? Like, that's so sad. Like, maybe he needs to go to therapy. Maybe that's why he kills kids. Because he doesn't feel loved. Or maybe it's just because it's a giant demon and I'm overthinking it. They made Pennywise Freddy Krueger where he becomes super inefficient at killing his prey. Because he takes so darn long. It's not hard. Pennywise scared the hell out of them. Like, how much more fear did he have to build in them? Like, they have been living in denial. Like, their minds shut this off for 27 years. They all get the call, and they're all absolutely terrified. One of them is so terrified that he slits his wrist. I don't care what the movie tells me. He was scared.
Yeah.
He was so scared he killed himself, and I get that. Not saying that I don't get that. I 100%. Don't try to make it seem like that was a heroic act. Okay? That was not.
Suicide is not the answer.
The
Suicide is not heroic.
What's it called? That's the thing though, because even in the book it says that he's so afraid that he kills himself.
I guess that's the horror of it, is that people will think suicide is heroic.
If they're that scared, like, how much more afraid does Pennywise have to make them? Like, is he gonna get like this super mass? Like, is he gonna go Kaioken times 5 if he eats them all at like max fear? Like, I don't get it. What is the point? Just eat them. Oh, hello. Oh. There we go. It just timed out. Sorry, guys. Okay, boys, honest opinion. What did you like about this movie? What did you hate about this movie? And what would you rate it?
So I guess I'll go first. So, what I liked about the movie is the cinematography, the VFX, the coloring, and I mean, just the character Pennywise. Like, I thought it was a really unique character, and
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård does a phenomenal
the actor
job.
who did that character was really good. And I mean, like, I get where they were trying to go with the story, but at the same time, there's a lot more they could have done, and like a lot more interesting elements they could have added. So I mean, for me, the movie I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
I like the actors that they picked for the adult version of the kids.
Oh, they were pretty darn spot on about that, actually.
Yeah, they did a good job. I like how they carried over like the personalities.
Yeah, I will say, I'm probably butchering his name, and if I am, I apologize. Bill Skarsgård. We have to count the amount of times I've said that incorrectly.
We'll see.
And I will say that he does a phenomenal job as Pennywise. Dude is so good. There was one part that actually genuinely got me, like, almost gave me a heart attack. I don't remember it. That's how insignificant that was, though, because I do not remember the actual part that did it. All I know is I got scared once. It is not a scary movie.
No.
It doesn't capitalize on its atmosphere to be scary, because there are some genuinely, like, unsettling moments. But then it switches back into the dark humor thing. It's like, okay, I understand you want to be dark comedy, but you also want to be scary, but you need to side more one with the other. And to me, it reminded me of the movie The Predator in that regard, where it wanted to be a bunch of different movies, but it couldn't pick it, and it couldn't find a proper identity. You know, I'm not saying that I agree with everything that happens, but I found it very, like, interesting. I will say the weakest part of the movie was the ending, personally for me.
That's funny because in they say it like even they make the joke the ending sucked.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it was kind of predictable too. Like I kind of knew what was gonna happen, but
Yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
You know, there has to be happy endings.
yeah.
But how cool would it have been if Pennywise would have just won? I would have liked that. I would have been like, that is a gutsy ending, and I respect you
In
for
the
doing
book, does he win or no?
No, he
Oh, okay.
doesn't. They tell, well, they actually kill him in his own dimension. When I'm just
That's crazy.
like how? Like, how do you do that? Like, bring a nuke, do that, but nah. Like, there's another book that's actually tied to the whole Pennywise thing. I need to find out. I need to remember which one it is.
Oh wow.
But I have to say, for me, honestly, it was like a 6. Like, the movie was enjoyable. I will say that. But in order to enjoy it fully, I had to turn off my brain. If you're gonna have a continuation of what's happened before and you see the growth of the characters, there should be a little bit more nuance and progression instead of like, hey, let's take 27 years of history and not only make them literally forget 27 years of history, but also make them forget that they've actually grown in those 27 years. Let's just put them, let's just turn this into a spooky version of the movie Big.
And it's that like 27 years ago, that was their most traumatic life experience. Like,
That's actually explained in the book. It's like a
it
curse.
is?
Yeah, it's a curse that when they leave Derry, it basically like erases that for them. But I think that like it will eventually kill them, which is why they come back, which is why Mike never leaves and he's the only one that doesn't get affected. So when they get when it gets mentioned again, it just kind of like snaps back. In hindsight, I will say I'm just really glad they didn't have that sewer scene. Because they went back into the sewer again, and I'm just like, Ben finally pulled one for all of the lonely fat boys. That was another thing. He couldn't dish it out. Like, Pennywise just called him a fat boy. I'm just like, dude, if you're gonna be mean, then be fully mean. Bully him. You know? Like, he's not fat anymore, but just be like, you know, you're always gonna be Jabba the Hutt on the inside. Misa want another popsicle. Like, I don't know, like, be mean. I'm not condoning bullying, by the way. I was bullied as a kid. I know how that feels. But if you're gonna make Pennywise to be this like detestable person, this detestable thing, then make him detestable. Don't make him a giant spooky monster with like the ability to insult of like a first grader.
And that's the thing, like, I didn't really hate Pennywise.
I kind of wanted half those characters to die. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, dude, do it.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's usually that you hate the antagonist, like, hate him a lot, but it's
They turn it into a slasher where you hate the people who are dying, so you're rooting for the slasher. You're rooting for the bad guy. I was like, I think the only person I legitimately did not want to die, and by proxy Beverly, was Ben. Because Ben was a genuinely good dude. He was super supportive of everyone. He I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm like getting mad right now, but I don't care who Bill is. He did not keep that group together there.
Yeah.
And Stanley didn't when he killed himself, okay? It was Ben. Ben kept them together. He saved Beverly when she was drowning in a pool of the blood, and himself. Like, he did a 2-for-1. And he's the one who kept them all. He's the one who convinced everyone to like stay together. It was I know Bill was like the leader and he was like, oh, he's the final say, but like no, it was Ben. You got to give Ben credit. You can't give it all to Mike. Mike can't get the girl and the win. You know who can? Ben, because he did. I thought Mike deserved to die because he was kind of scummy. He lighted them twice. And he had so many death flags. I was just like, die.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was kind of not his character, but again, I guess that kind of plays into the whole him not growing up thing. Richie was funny, but like I said, there were so many dark humor moments that I was kind of hoping he would die so it would stop. Again, that sounds terrible. I like, obviously Stanley was in the movie for like half a second before he decided to take an L. And what's it called? Eddie. I liked Eddie. I think Eddie was enough comic relief for me. I thought he was like when they threw up on his face and he like freaked out and came back. Like to me that was hilarious. I thought that was
like
it was dumb, but it was funny dumb, which I liked.
It was dumb.
But like overall, like if that was happening to me, I'd be like, bro, like please, like I'd be crying. Like in real life, I'd be crying. You know, it just shows that these people didn't mentally adapt to what happened to them, and I get it. Because how do you adapt to a giant space clown monster eating your brother and your friends? But yeah, the only two, and then you know, Bill was just Bill. I love James McAvoy. I think that's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I think he's a phenomenal actor. I just felt like, in this regard, he was like the only one that didn't need to be there. Like they could have replaced him with a toucan, and I think it would have been just the same, because his character felt so insignificant. I'm not talking about his acting ability. I think he did a fine job. Like even his stuttering and everything, like he was pretty spot on with that stuff.
Yeah.
But like it felt like Bill was so insignificant that they could have cast Mr. T as Bill, and I don't think I would have noticed the difference. Like that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe we'd be too critical. Yeah, so please don't unsubscribe to us if you liked the movie. We're not saying it's the worst movie in existence, because it's not. We haven't reviewed The Room yet, or Plan 9 from Outer Space. It was enjoyable for me, if I turned off my brain. I'm not giving it any, like, spooky movie of the year, or, like, best movie of the year award. To me, that still goes to Godzilla, because I love Godzilla. But I'm not want to talk because, you know, I know the movie's trash. But, like, overall, it was watchable.
Yeah.
I would say go and watch it. If you enjoyed the first one, then go watch it. You know? Anyways, like, share, and subscribe, you guys. We will see you next time. This has been Turkey Bee Reviews.
Yeah.
It Part 2.